All right, we lit.
What's happening?
What's happening?
Let's go.
What's going on?
We got Miami and Texas in the house.
You already know. You got your hat on today.
Well, how
though.
about this? I said a city and a state. We got, I know. We got Florida and Texas
There
in
we
the
go.
house.
That's better.
Yeah, this is the connect. How's your day going?
It's good so far, man.
Yeah.
It's good so far. It was a busy day working, but I'm alive. I'm well. I got breath in my lungs. Can't complain, man.
Can't
How about
complain.
you?
I had a good routine day. That's what I had a young dude. I texted him. I was like, man, what's going on, bro? How you doing? And he was telling me about his day. He was working out. And then he was like, man, how was your day? And I was like, man, how was my day? How was my day? And I was going through my day, and I'm like, man, routine. New day,
Yeah.
same routine, just
Ain't
new day.
nothing wrong with it.
Same.
As long as you're accomplishing what you need to.
Yeah,
Then you're
being
in a good
productive.
place. That's right. Be productive.
So we got a special show today. We just started this, but we also think it's important that you guys, as our viewers and as our collective group, get to know who we are. So we figured we should start doing that. So today is all about Hyram. Getting to know Hyram. And I'm actually excited because it's going to help me get to know you even more.
Cool. Let's do it.
Because I got some questions for you, brother.
Let's do it. I'm
You know
down.
what I'm saying? But, with that being said, I'm just open up the floor. Hyram's big on the crypto market. So I'm just going to ease my way up in this thing, What's your thoughts on, the crypto market right now? Because he's on it, man. We got a text message group. He's on it all day.
Yeah, I mean, as far as crypto goes, we're in a very interesting time period. I think that based on what the current administration is trying to do, we're going to see a very strong bull market in crypto and probably stocks too sometime soon. I think stocks are struggling a little bit. Only about 7 stocks are doing really well, but crypto-wise, legal clarity is coming. Lots of money coming, not financial advice, but it's still early. It's still super early.
I'm glad I asked you that question. Were you always like this? Growing up, were you into finances?
That's a good question.
And economics?
That's a good question.
From when you were a child, were you always good at this stuff?
So it's funny you ask. I liked math, but I failed Algebra 1 3 times in high school, mostly because I was lazy.
Okay.
It's not that I didn't understand it. I was really lazy. I didn't want to do homework, but I don't know. Math has always been cool to me, addition, subtraction, multiplication. I remember doing my times table in elementary school and being the fastest one to do it, 1 through 10, and winning ice cream for it. So I've always been good with numbers, but as far as using math in a day-to-day life, I use it. But school-wise, I was never good. But as far as business, my brother actually is a finance major, so that's the funny part. He's the one that did finance. So my brother Brian is a finance major, but I did start my entrepreneurial life young. So I remember when I was in middle school, I went to school in Portables, Glades Middle School in Pembroke Pines, Florida.
Hold on, what's a portable?
You know those little mobile homes?
Yeah.
Think of a campus full of little mobile homes, and each one was a classroom. That's what my school was.
It's a mini campus.
It was a mini campus, and it was only mobile homes. It was portables, and it was pretty cool, man. It felt like a mini college almost when I was in middle school. But right across the street, there was a grocery store called Sedano's, and for anybody who knows Sedano's, it's like the Cuban or Spanish supermarket in South Florida, and they had 4 Crunch bars for $1. So you can get 4 Crunch bars.
Dang.
You could get regular flavor, white chocolate, or caramel.
It's the blue wrapper.
The blue wrapper. 4 for $1. And guess what I did? I bought some every morning, and I'd take them back to school, and I'd sell them for $1 each. So for every $1 I invested, I made $4 I made $3 profit. So I made $4 back. So I started hustling at a young age, for sure.
Yeah, you was a hustler. I can tell.
I knew about investing primarily from games that I played when I was young. So I don't know if you ever played RuneScape. I don't think that was probably a game that you played. Maybe you heard of World of Warcraft. That was a
Yes.
popular game.
On the computer,
Yes,
the PC.
yes, on the PC. But the other game was RuneScape, and that's where I learned how to merch. That's what I call it, merch. So you buy stuff low and you sell it high.
Oh, so you was flipping things early age.
I started flipping things in video games and in real life from a very early age, and I learned more as I got older. And one funny thing I can say is I learned a lot playing Monopoly too. I learned a lot playing Monopoly.
Monopoly is the game.
And my wife and all my close friends know I'm very serious about Monopoly.
Yes, we played one night. This dude made up 10 different rules.
I don't make up rules. I just win. That's all I do.
Different rules, man. I'm like, we not playing by rules. Okay, so I learned playing Monopoly with Hyram, there's no rules.
I mean, the rules are what you make them. So
There's no, see that? Everybody got different rules at their house. It's crazy.
unless it's illegal, there's no rules.
Ain't no
unless you make them.
illegal in Monopoly.
I mean, there is.
Unless you're stealing from the bank.
You roll exactly. You roll
But
the
you can't
dice
steal
and
from the
don't
bank.
steal from the bank, and then
Everybody
everything
watching the
else is
bank.
free games.
Everybody watching the bank.
That's right.
You know, with that being said, who is Hyram? Who is Hyram Bautista?
That's a good question.
Who is Hyram?
It's funny because he's asked me, but he knows, so it's kind of funny. But
Yeah, I do.
if you were to just meet me and you would ask me that question, I'd be like, I'm a father, I'm a husband, I'm a brother, I'm a friend,
Okay.
I'm a son. So typical things that maybe a lot of people say, but all of those things are very important to me, and I take them very seriously.
So I like how you just broke that down. You're a husband, you're a father. We're just gonna go through each hat that you wear.
Sure.
What's your favorite thing about being a husband? Ooh, his wife is in the background too.
Yeah,
so
my wife's right here behind me, so
she
she's eyeing
listening.
me.
She acting like she ain't listening. She listening.
Honestly, it's somebody to do life with.
Okay.
I don't have to do anything alone, and I have help. I get a second pair of eyes to help me, to see things that I don't see, and I get another set of ears to hear things that I don't always hear. And just the accountability to always do better. As a single man, there's no one really pushing you towards greatness. And I remember hearing this quote when I was much younger. It's like, by every great man, it's a strong woman standing by him.
Right.
And so I feel like I've been blessed with that.
So what would you say to the guys out there, like the brothers that live together, that's building something great between them two?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I grew up with two older brothers. I'm married too, you know that.
Yeah.
But what did you say to the guys that's like, man, I don't need to be married. I got my bros.
I mean, that's cool. If that's what you want to do, if you want to be celibate, go for it. But there's something unique in finding a wife. If we want to use the Bible as a reference, the Bible says, "He who finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor from the Lord." And there's nothing better than favor from the Lord, right?
Right.
So, I mean, having brothers in your life is definitely going to help you to advance in so many areas. But God created the woman as a helper, right? So a woman has a dynamic role in helping man, not just in marriage, but in everything. Like, when I think about society today, I don't think we could run as a society without women. Otherwise, it would just be a very challenging and difficult society without women. Now, I think about how society has evolved just over the last 200 years, having women be implemented in so many important processes, whether it's politics, church, right? There was a time where women couldn't be pastors,
Right.
and so on and so forth. I think it's so important to honor how God has created women and their influence in our lives.
That's beautiful. I would agree, I would agree. I've seen, for the years that I've known you, I've seen your wife have your back. I've definitely seen your wife hold you accountable
Yeah.
and push you. And it's something unique about.
Is she smiling right now? Oh no, she's not listening. She's not really looking.
She's smiling now.
She's smiling.
But having a wife, sometimes I would just rather just chill with my wife.
Yeah. That's
than
true
to
too.
do anything else.
That's true too.
That's your partner in crime.
We're different. Men, we're rough. Women, they're soft. They have different body parts than we do. It's something unique about having a wife, and man, we can go on. We can go on with so many more things.
So with that being said, here's a what is it's a two-part question. Well, I'll ask the first question. What's so beautiful about being married?
Was beautiful. Well, man, I just watched this video yesterday, and it was beautiful. It was a 92-year-old man, and I don't know if you've seen it, and he was with his wife of 73 years, and she
Dang.
was on her deathbed. Essentially, she was dying from sickness, and she had dementia, and he was looking at her, and he was like, "Oh, I was the best you have ever had, wasn't I?" And she was like, "Yeah, you were." And then he starts singing to her, and then moments later, she passes. And I saw that, I'm just like, man, it's going to be so beautiful living 60, 70, 80 years together with my wife and looking back and saying, man, I did everything I could to love you. Even in the times that I failed, you loved me back and I loved you and we got through it. That's what I think about when I consider marriage, man. Just going through this life together. And you and I, we recently had the privilege of attending a 20-year anniversary.
Yeah, that's
And
beautiful.
it was so beautiful. A couple of friends of ours. And I don't know about you, but when he gave his speech,
Oh my
I was
gosh.
crying. Okay, like I was trying my best not to cry, and I thought I was the only one crying too. And the lights came back on. I looked to my left, and all the men were crying. And I was just like, okay, good. It's just not just me. Man, there's something unique about having a wife and having this unconditional love for her, and you have her having it back for you too.
Yeah, man. Did that speech? Yo, that speech took my breath.
I told him he was a legend for that, man.
Legend.
I told him he was a legend.
Yeah, he got his legend status right
Absolutely.
there. That's that. I'll tell y'all right now, man. Young man, older dudes, like I know you out there going to getting and establishing yourself, making your money, whatever it is that you're doing. But there's nothing like having a wife. There's nothing like having a ride or die
No.
by your side through thick and thin. And society says right now, like these women ain't they want to marry you for your money or they want to marry you for your status. But man, you just got to find the right one. Go to Walmart. They in Walmart. They in the coffee shop. They in
said go to
school. I'm
Walmart.
just saying, hey, man, they out there.
They're anywhere. I mean, you just
They
look
out
for
there.
them.
They out there, man. They out there.
I slid into the DMs. That's how I found my wife. So
Oh, that you want to share that story?
that's a whole story in itself. I slid into the DMs. Now, this
Diesel.
was
He dieseled this, too.
2014, and she was 17. I was 19. I found her on the Explore feed on Instagram randomly. And it wasn't even her. It was a post, like a quote or something. And I really liked it. So I clicked on the quote. I went to the page and I saw this very pretty young woman. I had no idea what she was. I didn't know she was 17. I didn't know anything. And she had just a lot of things in common with me that I saw. She was a believer in Jesus. She was very successful, very ambitious. And so I followed her.
Yes, ambitious
And
for sure.
she lived in Oklahoma. She's been ambitious since she was young. She still is, right? And so I followed her, and about 6 months later, she followed me back pretty quickly. And about 6 months later, she was going on a mission trip to Peru, and so she was raising money. She was giving shirts for $20 to raise money for her trip, and so I sent her a handwritten card, and I said, "Here's $20." Because that's all I had. I didn't have much money at the time. I was
boy
young.
Closed it like that.
Here's
Come on.
$20. Don't worry about sending me the shirt. I hope the mission trip goes well. And it wasn't even like I wasn't hitting on her. It was just sincere. I really
Very
thought what
kind
she
of
was
you.
doing was awesome. And I had no like thought of potentially even being with this person because number one, I wasn't actively looking for anybody. And number two, she was halfway across the country. I wasn't thinking anything of it. And sure enough, she sends me a message back on Instagram, and yeah, the rest was history. We met in person like 6 months after that, and
Hey, he just dropped a dime right there.
hey, man, sometimes
He just dropped the dime.
your gift will make room for you.
He
So your
just-
seed,
Hey,
it can make room for you. So never neglect the power of giving in general.
that's good. Never neglect the power of giving. So with that being said, you said you're a husband. I think after, becoming a husband, the next step is becoming a father. So what is it like being a father?
Being a father is one of the most eye-opening experiences you'll probably have as a man because all the times your parents told you when you were younger, oh, just wait till you have kids to see. It comes to reality. You start to understand things that you didn't really before. And even as a young man who may be more advanced, you've experienced more. You think you know, but you really don't until you have children. Just
Right.
certain things. And something awakens in you when you have children. You just become more aware of things that maybe you didn't really care about before. Whether it's the security of the people in your home, like, hey, I want to make sure that there's not things that are exposed that could cause harm to my wife or to my children, things like that.
Yeah.
Financially, you're looking to secure them. There's all kinds of ways that you as a man just begin to be molded and shaped. And I know you can relate to me on this because I even seen the change in your life after you had a child. It's just beautiful. And not only that, but it makes you more appreciative of your parents too.
Yeah.
When you become a parent, you start to appreciate your parents more. And, there was a time, I've told you this story, but I think it would be beautiful to share with everyone. There was a time where my son must have been like, I don't know, 4 months old, and I'm just there with him, rocking him in his rocking chair, rocking him to sleep, telling him I love him, and I looked at him and I'm just like, oh my goodness, son, this is so wonderful, and I just also realized something so beautiful, that Jesus, my Lord and Savior, became a baby, helpless, and trusted his parents, natural parents, to protect him and raise him. That was a super dynamic thing when I became a parent, when I first became a parent. And then the next thing that happened to me shortly after that was I was driving on 380 on the main road over here down the street.
Yeah.
And I'm just
380 is
driving.
diesel.
380 is diesel. And I'm driving and like I'm in traffic. Let me call some people. You know what? Let me call my dad actually. Let me call him real quick. So I called my dad. And Dad, if you're watching, you probably remember this moment because it was so unique. I dialed my dad. I called my dad and I said, "Hey, Dad," and I could barely even say the words I wanted to say. I was like, "Hey, Dad, I just wanted to tell you I'm sorry." And then I burst out crying, man. I was just crying, and I was like, "Dad, I'm so sorry for ever thinking that you didn't love me."
Oh man.
And I was like, "Dad, I see the way that I love my son, and I know that you loved me the same way. And I'm so sorry for ever saying that you didn't love me. And I forgive you for any hurt that I've had in my heart, and I release you." And I was crying with him for like 30 minutes straight, man. It was so beautiful.
That's beautiful. Hearing you say that, a lot of men, okay, let me say it like this. Growing up, especially your father, in the time that he grew up, his father probably didn't tell him he loved him that much.
Not like we do today, no.
No, because he grew up in some hard times.
Yeah.
And what you see and what you realize is men, we are wired differently. I tell my wife all the time, you don't necessarily have to tell me you love me. I know you love me by the way you treat me, right? Mm-hmm. And I noticed that. I always said, my father, it's hard for him to even tell me he loves me now, right? Mm. But I know he loves me because of how he treats me. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. A husband or a father knows the people that love him by how they treat him. If you honor, respect, and you're loyal, that's love like for a man. Honor, respect, and loyalty, that's love.
That's what you need to give a man.
That's it. And peace in the home.
I don't know if this makes a sound, but we're going to hit it anyway. I think so.
It might. We ain't got the mics on today.
Yeah, no, we don't have the headphones on, but I'm pretty sure that made a noise.
But that's
Oh, it's still going. I got to turn it off. Hold on.
Oh, snap.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, that might have been the clap. But no, that's good because you was like, man, Pops, I know you love me like this. Mm. You cared for me, so I know you love me.
Yes.
You helped me. When I fell, you picked me up.
Yes.
And now you see it like, man, hey, you don't have to tell me you love me. I know you love me.
Yes, right.
By experience. Mm-hmm. And I was just saying this the other day, good. Experience learned is wisdom earned.
Experience
learned is wisdom earned.
I like it.
You earn some wisdom right there. You get a little insight, some understanding.
That's good.
So, all right. So you're a husband, you're a father, but you also, one of your biggest roles that you play is you are a businessman. Talk about a little bit about some of your business endeavors, things like that. And
Yeah.
I mean, you kind of went into it like how you had a business mindset, growing up as a young man into, teenager until now who you are. How about this? How did your life play a part in you being a businessman? Like what are some failures and successes you had on your way to becoming a successful businessman?
Man, I don't know why, but for whatever reason, I've just been like very entrepreneurial from a young age. And again, I attribute it a lot to like my upbringing, just little things that I did here and there. Also, watched my dad do a lot of entrepreneurial things. Like he had a job at the radio station, but he did a lot of side gigs, a lot of side hustles. My family members also did a lot of side hustles. So definitely had like good examples of just like making sure that I'm hustling and trying to create something. But when I was in high school, I had my own business DJing.
Yeah.
So I did weddings, I did birthday parties, I did whatever, you name it. Team Teddy Productions. That was my nickname in high school.
Teddy.
Teddy was my nickname in high school.
Yo, his son looks like a teddy bear too.
He does. He
This
does
dude
look
is
like a
handsome.
teddy bear. That's funny. I wanted to name my second son Teddy, but my wife said no.
For real?
Okay, yeah, we tried. I tried Theodore, but she
Amara,
doesn't
that's
want
for real?
it. She doesn't want Theodore. We
What?
tried.
Theodore, that's perfect.
I know Theodore is great. Anyways, so yeah, just like man, I learned to hustle. If you don't make money, you don't eat, and you have to make a name for yourself. And after high school, when I left the life of DJing, I took a job in retail, and I made $8 an hour.
Right.
Then eventually, as a store manager, $12 an hour, and I knew that wasn't it. Like, there was no way I could survive making $12 an hour.
Retail's diesel, bro.
It's terrible. Working 40 hours a week and standing on my feet and not making anything. So I knew I had to get into business, and so I started a Christian clothing line. I actually started off as a regular clothing line, and then eventually a Christian clothing line. And then eventually, I also started to learn more about investing.
Gotcha.
I knew investing was important for me. I just didn't know how to use it in my life because I wasn't making a lot of money. So I didn't have the ability to compound that much money. So as I got older, I learned about investing, like stocks, crypto, 401k. I learned about all these different things. And I also understood that in order to have a business, you need to understand different tax codes. You need to understand the importance of an LLC versus an S corp, all of those things. Things like you've discussed with me, government contracts, how to get in with businesses that are looking for minority-owned businesses, things like that.
Yes.
I started doing all this research, man. I started to try to understand how to make money in the business world as an entrepreneur. And then I just started to apply myself in areas where I found myself doing well. And for me, just some of the areas that have worked for me have been the areas where I have a story, I have a testimony.
Yeah.
For example, I went from a 400 credit score to an 800 credit score. And the way I did it was really applying myself, learning, going to seminars, reading books. And then now I created this business called financial coaching, right? It was called Freedom Freedom Movement Financial. And
We're gonna drop the
coaching.
link we're gonna drop the link.
And this is something I don't do like most of the time. Now I do it for a very select few people, but the importance of budgeting, the importance of using credit the right way, all these things. Now I can create a business because I understand what it takes, right, for somebody to become successful in this area. Same thing with coffee, for example. My wife and I love coffee. It was an easy business to make.
Yeah.
So now we have Xander Bean Coffee. So the list goes on. But when it comes to business, I feel like as long as you're passionate about something and you understand how to be successful because you have a good product or a good solution, you're going to be successful in that business.
That's dope. And also you said something key, apply.
Yeah.
I feel like we live in a society where applications is not the norm anymore. Like if you want to do something in life, you got to apply it. Like if you want to start your own business, or if you want to get a certification, or if you want to become a doctor, lawyer, or anything, play a sport, whatever it is, you have to apply yourself. And I can say that about you. You are an applier. Now he applies. Like when he get a hold of something, Like next thing you know, he'll send you like, hey, he'll be like, hey man, what you think about this? What you think about that? I'm like, dang, he already on it. Because he's an applier. And if you apply things, you execute things.
Yeah, my wife actually, we were listening. It was a work call actually, and somebody was sharing, and they mentioned something, and I'm missing a little piece of it, but I'm gonna give you a nugget. Application brings forth transformation, but there
Ooh.
was something else. What was it, babe? It was something plus application brings transformation. Do you remember? I don't. She doesn't remember.
Execution,
No, it
discipline,
rhymed. It rhymed. I don't remember what it was, but just know that without
dedication.
application, you won't have
Application, dedication.
transformation.
I'm trying to guess.
No, you're good. I'll find it for you because I actually wrote it. I wrote it in my notes.
Nice.
But yes, that is super important. You have to apply yourself in whatever it is that you're doing in order to be successful.
Gotta apply yourself. You know, growing up, I wanted to be on varsity my sophomore year in high school because my brother was going to be a senior. And I was like, I gotta have this chance to play with him. So I applied myself. I got up at 5 a.m. in the morning and was
right.
in the gym by 5:30
Yes.
every single day, freshman off season.
Yep.
And in the summertime too. And before you knew it, your boy was starting varsity. And I got to play my brother's last year in high school with him. And it's a beautiful
Nice.
thing. A lot of people can't say
Nice.
that. But that goes to, you got to apply yourself.
You have to.
Even in that, I was just thinking, if we could travel in time and go fast forward, what would the 90-year-old Hyram say to the Hyram today?
I don't know. Couldn't tell you. I don't know, man.
You ever think about that?
No, I don't. I don't, honestly. Just because I feel like everything I've done in my life until this point has been so ordained. Like, it hasn't been perfect. I've made so many mistakes. I know that there's so many areas where I could have done better, but I just don't know that I would change anything because I feel like God has placed me in such a wonderful, wonderful place. Like, everything I have right now, God gave it to me. I didn't ask for it. And I just feel more than blessed, man. So I don't know that I would say anything. And if I would, it probably would be something selfish. And so I don't even want to think or meditate on that. Something selfish like buy Bitcoin at $10 or
Buy Bitcoin at $10,
right?
I mean, that's the truth.
Right? I'm sure everybody would say that, but
Yeah.
no, I mean, just I think if there was one like piece of advice, it would be probably things that I heard a lot when I was younger, which is to not be lazy and to be disciplined, because there's so many benefits that I would see in my life today as a 30-year-old man had I been extremely disciplined throughout my 20s in every area of my life, financially, physically,
Yes.
emotionally, spiritually. I would have been a much, much stronger person, but that's okay. Here I am. I mean, otherwise my wife wouldn't be with me, right?
That's true.
Or my friends wouldn't be around, right?
Yeah, a woman is listening. I was listening. I heard this woman. She was earlier today. I was on YouTube, and the dude asked her like, "Yo, what kind of man do you want?" She said, "A man with integrity. He's kind, not nice. He's kind, and he's disciplined." And I was like, discipline is an attractive thing for women. Being disciplined. Because it's hard being disciplined. It's very hard being disciplined. So with that being said, I want to ask you this. What was a event in your life that shaped you into who you are today? Like, what was that event? If you could think back to like an event, a transformational event that shaped you into who you are today.
When I was 17, I was freshly 17 and I was a senior in high school. And at that time, I was living my best life. I was partying, I was DJing, I had everything I wanted, just, up to no good, drinking, smoking, all that. And I remember that I went on I was just very bad kid. Like, man, I was skipping school. I wasn't doing any of my schoolwork, no homework.
Dang.
I was just terrible,
He was
man.
diesel, man.
It was really bad. I had a 1.5 GPA in my senior year of high school. In order to graduate, you need a 2.0. So 1.5 is like, dude, you're not even going to make it.
I'm
And
married. That's what you married?
my my mom
I had a 1.5 worse than me.
my
God.
mom was like, "You're not gonna graduate." My brother was like, "You're not gonna graduate," and they would take me to my guidance counselor in school, and they'd be like, and she would tell me, "You're not gonna graduate," and I was like, "I'm gonna prove all of you wrong. Watch, I'm going to prove you wrong. I will graduate."
Oh.
And really, what happened was I just didn't apply myself. I was lazy, and I wanted to do things my way, and so December. Actually had my first ever encounter with God, like ever in my life. And
December of
December of 2011. I'm a
2011.
senior. I just turned 17.
Okay.
I have an encounter with God, and I come back, and now it's January. I have 5 months before graduation. I have a 1.5 GPA, and I told myself, we're gonna do this. There's no way we're going to not do this. So I signed up for like, I want to say maybe like 9 classes online in a
Right.
semester, plus the ones that I was taking in school, 4 in school. And I basically passed about 8 of those with A's and one of them with a B. And then my 4 classes that I was taking, I had B's and A's. So I was able to basically apply myself and then literally graduate high school with a 2.0 flat.
flat.
I made it out. By the skin of my teeth, I made it out. But I knew that if I put myself, my mind, and I focused on it, that I would be able to do it. And it didn't matter what other people said. As long as I believed in myself and I actually applied myself, I knew I could get it done. And so just like you said earlier about applying myself, that taught me that if I really apply myself and if I put my mind to something and I follow through, I'll get it done. It doesn't matter how hard it is. And that was really hard. That was daunting. My mom tells a story about how I cried because one day she took me because like 3 or 4 weeks before graduation, she took me to one of those schools that you go to get your GED, basically.
Yeah.
She took me there because the counselor told her I wasn't going to make it.
Dang.
So she took me, and basically I started crying, and I was like, I'm not going to do this. I'm going to graduate high school. And so I went back to school and I finished. And I didn't flunk at all. I never flunked. I graduated at 17, which is crazy too. But all that to say is, man, I've noticed that in my life, as I got older, whenever I needed to accomplish something, I had to be 100% all in. I couldn't be 90%. I couldn't be 80%. I had to be 100% decided that this was it and there was no other way. There was nothing else. I'm just going to get it done. And what happens with people like me, Marlin, that have gone through many challenges growing up, especially with discipline. I was spoiled as a kid. So like when I got home from school and my mom brought McDonald's, I would say no, and they would go get me what I wanted to get, Kentucky or Taco Bell.
Dang.
I was
boy had it
very
good.
spoiled, right? Because I wasn't rich. We weren't rich, but I was spoiled. And because of that, I didn't have discipline. So today it's a fight. Like I have to have a mental fight when I have to become disciplined at something. But that's why I say that moment really taught me that I have to apply myself 100% or not, or bust, essentially.
Dang. So you was a guy that, as it says, the man that thinks he can. The man that thinks he can't. Same man, different mindset. Same man, different mindset. And you said, you were spoiled. You wasn't rich, but you was spoiled. What's the difference? I think this is good. Yo, what's the difference?
I mean, we didn't have everything we wanted. I didn't have everything we wanted. We didn't have a huge house or crazy cars or anything. We didn't have lavish things at all. As I got older, we started to have nicer things until my parents got divorced. But
Yeah.
we never had like extraordinary lavish things. Like when I was in high school, I wore the same 2 or 3 pairs of shoes like my freshman year, my sophomore year, maybe 2 or 3 pairs of pants. I didn't have much clothes. I probably wore the same shirts almost every other week. until my junior year when I started making my own money. So I was spoiled in this in my younger years. Like before I turned 13, I was spoiled, and I got the things that I wanted. Like if we were going to Orlando, I would say, let's go to this park, and we'd end up going to that park.
Yeah.
My mom and my dad were really able to give me nice things to make me feel good. Basically, they helped me to enjoy my life,
Yeah.
so to speak.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
But let me tell you, we're about to take a quick turn here. This is
Yeah.
good. This is building up a story. When I turned 12 and a half, 13, my parents got divorced. And everything that I had that was like the feeling of good and spoiled was ripped away from me.
Man,
Completely ripped away from me.
I wanted to ask you about that too.
I'm talking about, we had 50 people at my birthday parties to there being only like 15 because my parents' family didn't want to be in the same place because there was animosity.
Yeah.
We went from having these family vacations with like 40, 50 people going out of the city to another place, right? To not ever doing that ever again. We went from vacations out of the country as a family to never doing that again. We went from having a house full of people to just being me and my mom when I was in high school, and I grew resentment towards her.
Dang.
Yeah, man. My brother went off to college. My dad left because my parents got divorced, and it was lonely.
You know, how does that? Because I don't. My parents are still together, and I don't know if I told you this, but I noticed, like, just watching, like, I noticed the difference between kids that have parents that are divorced and then kids that have parents that are married and they stick it out. And my brother was like, yo, I wasn't going to marry nobody whose parents was divorced because you got to deal with, like they're just a different kind of person. But, you and your wife come from that.
Yeah,
And
both of us.
both of y'all, but y'all marriage is fantastic. But what are some of the struggles that you faced dealing with parents being divorced?
Well,
Like today,
yeah.
if there is any.
I was extremely rebellious because my dad wasn't home. So I was doing whatever I wanted. All the drinking and the drugs and the smoking, it probably wouldn't have happened if my dad was home. If I had somebody to keep me in check, it probably wouldn't have happened.
Yo, that's it right there.
Yeah, I mean, that's literally the key. You need a father in the house.
You need a father in the house.
You don't have a father in the house, your children will end up becoming rebellious, 100%.
They gonna rebel regardless, but they gonna be worse. They gonna be worse.
They'll be better off if they have a father in the house, for sure.
I agree.
I think about, right, some of our friends, right, for example, they have older kids like in their teen years, right?
Yeah.
And I think about some of these parents and how they raise their children and how they're respectful.
Fantastic.
Listen, they might rebel because they're teenagers, and that's normal, but they're still respectful and they still honor their parents. I think that's the core. And they're not living a crazy life. They're not doing drugs and drinking and sleeping around in their teen years. And look, I made all those mistakes, so I'm not knocking the child that does or the parent that, is unfortunately a victim to having a child in that lifestyle. But what can we do as parents is hold our children accountable and love them through it all.
Hiram, one of my favorite things about you is you're genuine. When people meet you, they know that you're genuine and that you care. And that's one of my favorite things about you, that you're extremely genuine and you care. And he'll take the shirt off his back for people he loves. That's for sure. And another thing I love about you is you're not afraid to grow. Like you're not afraid to do things that transform you, for a lack of better words. Like you're always trying to find ways to become a better man, a better husband, a better father, a better Christian, like all these things, better at business.
Yeah.
And it's admirable.
Appreciate that, man.
Man, and I notice I'm the youngest in my family, so as the youngest, you have eyes to observe.
Same.
You know what I'm saying? Because they tell you to shut up. I'm for real, man.
That's so true.
Hey, but my family was like, "Yo, shut up. You're the youngest."
That's so true.
So you get a lot of time just to sit and observe. But real quick, we're gonna hit you with some fast ones as we wrap this thing up.
Yep.
I think this is good. When's the last time I wrote some things down. When was the last time you truly forgave yourself?
What? I don't think I really do that.
Okay.
Honestly, yeah.
That's good. Well, how about this? When's the last time you forgave somebody?
Probably just like a couple of days ago, really. I think forgiveness is super vital in the life of a human being, especially if you have a relationship with God. If you are not forgiving others, then you won't be forgiven by God. But carrying resentment is not a good thing. That's how you end up angry or in depression. And for me, I'm somebody who might have a moment, but I try to get over it as fast as I can. Keep it moving.
Keep it moving. Okay, I got some quick ones. Okay.
Sure.
What if you could name 5 things to give a young man in today's society that would help propel their life? What would it be?
5 things?
5 things.
A single man or any young man?
Any young man, single or married.
5 things. Well, be where you're supposed to be on time and follow instructions.
Okay.
I'm sure you've heard that.
Is that one? Is that one right
That's
there?
one.
Okay.
That's one. And that could be anything. That could be work. That could be church. That could be whatever you're doing in your life with your spouse. Super important that
So that sounds like integrity.
Yeah, have integrity. Have integrity. Have character. Be honest.
Okay.
Be honest about who you are and where you are in your life. Don't try to mask your issues, your challenges. Give an account to the people that can hold you accountable.
Okay.
So that way you can grow. So if you're trying to be transformative in your life, then you need to be able to give an account.
Okay. It's 3.
I think loving others is extremely important. If you want to be loved, you have to love others, and that looks like serving. It looks like spending time building a relationship, cultivating relationships. So spending time together with people, that's extremely important. And then lastly is just ensuring that you are staying on top of your game in the areas where you know you need to succeed as a man. You need to sharpen your skill set. And that could look like you sharpening an area where maybe you're struggling, like finances, for example. If you know that you're not good at finances, perhaps you need to be reading and studying about finances so that you can improve.
Yeah.
So constantly learning. I think that's one of the best things that I've learned from my mentor. He's in his late 50s now, and he still is spending time learning. He's still studying. He's still in school, getting degrees and all kinds of certifications. So if there's anything you can do, is always sharpen yourself.
Good. That's awesome. So learning, loving, I think you said character, integrity, be where you need to be when you need to be there, honesty. And then what was the last one?
I couldn't even tell you. I forgot already.
Dang, me too. I lost the last one. But that's good. You want character, integrity, be honest. There's a few. I mean, and then, love and always be learning.
Serving. Always be learning, yeah.
I think that's great. All right, hold on. I got a few more.
Good.
I got a few more fast ones.
Let's do it.
Okay. Here we go. What's your favorite thing to do? Your absolute favorite thing to do. Like your favorite thing. I could name a few things that I know you love to do.
Go ahead. What do you think?
I know you love to drift.
Oh, I like to drift. Yeah, that's fun. That's fun for sure.
I know you love to drift.
Like cars, by the way.
Yeah, cars. Cars. What you think? Drifting like what?
No,
Mushrooms
I'm
or
making
something?
sure. I'm making sure people know what it means.
What else? What else do you love to do?
I love to play basketball.
Yeah, Hyram.
I love to play baseball.
He's
an
an intramural hoop star.
I like basketball and baseball. They're a lot of fun. I like playing sports in general. Sports is fun. Honestly, man, I love spending time with my family, my wife and my son. There's no greater feeling than coming home to seeing them.
Hey, man.
It's so much fun.
Isn't that a beautiful thing?
Yeah. It's nice.
Is he
when
running
you're
at the door
separate.
when you open up the door now?
He does, but he doesn't like come up to me unless I tell him to.
Yo.
Like he'll come say hi and then he'll run away.
Yo.
But he doesn't like jump into my arms. Not yet. He's not quite there yet, but he's making his way.
Yo, when Aria runs.
He did today though. He did today.
Yo, when Aria runs, that's my daughter. When she runs, she runs.
Yeah.
When that door opens.
Oh, that's so awesome, man.
Bro, it makes you feel like Superman.
Yeah, you feel like a superhero. Literally.
You feel like Superman.
It's
and
such a
then
good
Axel's following suit. He's just doing the same thing.
That's so great.
You know, he's walking now. All right, so here we go.
Wonderful.
If you have any, what is your greatest fear? And how do you confront that daily?
Getting fat.
Dang. So how you confronting that? You heard that?
Yeah.
Come here. You heard that?
That's like my biggest fear is like
Yo,
getting like
gosh.
super fat. Like I'm chunky right now, no doubt, but like getting like really fat. I mean like 260 plus. Like that's like one of my biggest fears.
That's diesel. 260
Yeah.
would be round for you.
Yeah, for sure.
So what you doing to confront that right
I mean,
now?
fortunately, I'm doing things such as, intermittent fasting and working out. For the last couple of weeks has been very good for me. I've been working out at least 4 times a week. So I've been having a really good stretch over the last few weeks, just being intentional about going to the gym.
Okay.
And we've got some good workouts too over the last few weeks as well. And then also going to the gym with people. Like I'm not going alone, which is nice too.
Accountability.
So I have somebody to push me. Yeah, absolutely.
All right. How about this? Yeah, I got a few more. I got 2 more questions.
Hit it.
How do you define success? And how has that definition transformed you?
Man, what's crazy is like now I don't see success as like just meeting a mark. I see it as exceeding it. I can't just simply like meet the mark. I have to be above it.
Okay.
So if, for example, work, if my quota is 100%, I need to make sure I'm doing everything I can to go far beyond that, 150, 200. And it's not to say like, oh, I have to do it, but that's my mark. My mark is above just what's expected of me. If my expectation is to be somewhere at 7 p.m., I probably want to be there early because to be successfully on time would be being there ready to go, for example. Just a simple example, right? So it just depends on what we're talking about, though.
Cool. I got 2 more questions.
Sure.
The first of the last 2 questions is this. Define leadership.
Well, being a leader means being the one who is on the floor, essentially. I mean, you are the one that's being crushed. I mean, you are literally serving others by your example. My motto of a leader is Jesus Christ. That's my motto of a leader.
Okay.
And the way that he did it was he did quite the opposite of what we see today. We see leaders telling people what to do, but Jesus did the opposite. He was the example, and then he showed them how to do it. And so when I think about leadership, I think of somebody who takes ownership and somebody who shares and teaches others how to do what he is doing at a successful clip. So that's how I see leadership.
Excellent. And I saw this one. This is my last question. And I saw this. It was a clip. And normally people say at your funeral. But I'm going to say if you were at your last birthday of your life and all the important people were there celebrating you, what would they say about Hyram?
I don't know. I mean, that's up to them to say. I really don't know, man. I hope my hope would be that I was able to accomplish what God had for me. God has created me to be his son, to be a father, to be a son to my parents, to be a brother to my brother and all my brothers like yourself, to be a husband to my wife. And I hope that they would say that I was successful in doing a good job in all of those things. That's what I strive for, man, just to be excellent and to please God and to please them. So,
Amen. That's awesome. You know what I would say? If it was me and I was there, this man lived a life full of servitude.
I appreciate that.
full of servitude. He served me, he served my family, and he served the people he loved. So, yeah, that's a little bit about Hyram, you know. Man, thanks for letting me interview you, ask you some questions.
For sure. Appreciate it, man. That was
You
good.
know, y'all got a little taste of his life, and I guess I'll be next.
Yes,
And
sir.
I'm buck wild, so y'all might just hear some stuff.
Yeah, and you know, one thing I will say is like I know I will say like, you know, our episodes for right now, we've been very topic focused. We're gonna get very free spirited with them.
Yeah.
We'll get real fun with them. I think that we have a lot coming that we want to do that's going to be more open and fun conversations, dynamic conversations. And man, we can't wait to bring these things to you. We have a lot in mind. We just want to make sure that you guys knew who we were before we even got into the nitty gritty of all these things that we can talk about. There's so many areas, life experiences that we have, but also just current events too.
Yeah.
There's so much happening in the world, and we just want to be open and talk to y'all about it and see what you guys think. So without further ado, we appreciate you guys watching. Make sure you guys drop a comment, share the video on your social media.
Click that subscribe
Click
button.
that subscribe button. You know how it goes. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
We out.